Welcome, Nora, back to the Miracles Happen Fertility Centers podcast.
Woohoo!
Good to see you.
Hi, Maria.
It's good to see you again. We've traded interviews over couple years now that
Yeah,
we've
the last 2
been
years, I
chatting.
think. Yeah, I was on your podcast early last year. Then I had you on my podcast the beginning of this year. And
Yes.
now here we are again.
Good times. It's a party up in here. Well, for folks who are listening or watching, head back to the Miracles Happen Fertility Podcast, episode 107, if you want to learn about Nora and her history. And we talked last time about the 4 R's to getting pregnant. So if you are interested in that, head back to episode 107. But today, we're going to be talking about improving egg quality, which, hello, right?
Hello.
Who doesn't
Exactly.
need that? Who doesn't need a little of that? So we're just going to dive right in. What are the goods on this, Nora? Do tell.
Yeah, so I want to start by introducing this concept of what's called the ovarian environment. So we all know we have our eggs. We're born with all of our eggs. And then as we age, well, these eggs first, before we even go forward, these eggs sit inside of our ovaries, right? And there is an environment inside of those ovaries that need to be healthy in order to kind of bathe those eggs in like a healthy fluid, because those eggs that are sitting there are in their what's called primordial state. They're so tiny and microscopic, and they're waiting to be recruited to start developing, to then be released for ovulation, for potential fertilization. But that could take years, and many years, until that actually happens. So going back to just introducing this concept of the ovarian environment, the best way that I like to explain this is using the analogy of like the seed and soil analogy, right? So we know that if a plant outside or in your home or whatever, wherever it is going to thrive, it needs to be in a healthy and healthy body of soil, because that soil is going to give that tiny little microscopic seed all of the nutrients that it is needed to eventually grow and sprout into a beautiful, healthy, mature plant. And that is the exact same concept with us. So we think about our seed as the egg, and then I want you to think about the soil as the ovarian environment, the fluid and what is happening inside of that ovary to nourish those eggs until they're ready to kind of sprout and bloom. So the fluid inside of the ovaries is actually made up of a bunch of different things. There's a lot of hormones in there, there's enzymes in there, there's electrolytes in there, so think about hydration, and also tons of antioxidants. And that fluid needs to be, healthy and robust with all of these different electrolytes, enzymes, antioxidants to keep those eggs or those seeds super healthy. So that environment is susceptible to damage, just like all the other tissues and organs and all the other stuff, all the other parts inside of our body. Everything is susceptible to damage. It's just that is the way the human body has been designed. And that's why we're always hearing eat antioxidant foods, making sure you're eating anti-inflammatory foods, getting your sleep, because we know stress can cause oxidative damage in the body. So think about that concept, but now happening inside of the ovary. So that's what I want to start with.
Yeah, as you were talking about seeds really quick, I'm noticing that beautiful houseplant behind you.
You should see how long these
Yes.
plants, the vines go all the way to the floor and they spread. I had to cut them and I didn't want to. I was like crying when I was cutting them. I was like,
wow.
I just had to. They were getting too long.
Maybe they feel better though. They're like, oh, we feel trimmed. But it made me think, I used to kill my houseplants.
Oh no.
I used to kill them all the time. I didn't know what I was doing. And what you're talking about is exactly what I needed to do different. The soil that I was using was not correct. I needed to feed them. I needed to give them proper nutrition, right? Like I didn't know.
Right?
I thought you just put them in a thing and you water them and you water them and you water them and you water them.
And you may have drowned them or you served them.
Or both. Right. I had no idea. So now I have houseplants all over because I started feeding them well, giving them the right nutrients. So you're right. It's like, that's how we all exist, right? Like flora and fauna, we need the correct environment. Yeah.
Exactly. And so the next part about this that I want to introduce before we start diving into all the goodies, which is all of the nutrients that are going to support the eggs, is something that's called follicular genesis. So if we think about our ovary, an egg inside of our ovary, that egg is protected by a follicle, and that is there's the follicle is the egg, and it's protected by the shell. And the follicular genesis is essentially the development of that follicle over time. Now, a lot of us in the fertility space kind of hear, okay, 3 months, you need 3 months in order to kind of change or boost the quality of your eggs. However, I want to share something a little bit more detailed and something maybe a little bit different, because after a lot of research for myself, being a preconception health coach and a holistic nutritionist, and I mean, I help women and couples prepare their body for pregnancy. And so the whole concept of optimizing egg health is so important for my clients, whether you're trying naturally or whether you're trying with assisted reproductive technology and going in for IVF or IUI, whatever the scenario is for you. But this concept of follicular genesis is the process of how an egg actually develops and matures over time. And so there's two main phases that I want to talk about briefly here. And the first phase is called the pre-antral period. So antral essentially just means like a small follicle that we can actually see with an ultrasound. So that's why I'm saying these primordial eggs are so microscopic and tiny before they even start to develop, and we can actually see them with technology. And that period is called the pre-antral period. And it takes about 290 days for a recruited primordial follicle to begin to grow into an antral follicle. So there is a period of almost a year
Wow.
where
Yeah.
the development of these follicles are starting, right? So again, they're dormant, they're kind of laying there in their dormant state until they're told, okay, it's time to be recruited. That pre-antral period, again, is almost 300 days where it's starting to develop and grow. And then we have the second phase, which is called the antral period, which is something that we can actually test and measure from an ultrasound. I'm very sorry. Do you hear this truck outside? I am hearing this loud. Oh, thank God. Okay, good. Because it is banging away and it is extremely distracting for me, but I'm happy you can hear it. Okay, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Okay, I apologize. I'm like totally in flow here. The second phase is called the antral period, and this can take up to about 50 to 70 days. And in this period, the follicle substantially grows before it can actually be released for ovulation. Again, what we can actually see on an ultrasound. So the reason why I'm sharing this is because what this ultimately means is that the quality of the eggs that you release today for ovulation, or maybe next month, is a reflection of your overall health and nutrient stores in your body from the previous, essentially, year, from the previous 12 months. And so the good news here is that you can improve the quality of your eggs. I see this time and again with my clients, I should say, and you can do this by really focusing on what I like to call targeted nutrition and lifestyle factors and supplements. A lot of us know about taking supplements to improve our egg quality. As a holistic nutritionist myself, I like to say, let's get as much as we can from our foods, and then we top up with the supplements what we can't necessarily get all from our foods. So something to think about, right? Something to think about. Okay, if I know I want to start getting pregnant next year, it's not just about waiting, 1, 2, 3 months before you actually want to start trying to really think about what you can do to optimize your health in your body to start improving those eggs. But, a year in advance is what you are doing, what you're putting into your body a year in advance is going to impact the quality of those eggs when it's time for them to release for ovulation when you're ready for pregnancy.
Okay. Wow. That's definitely a lot longer than that whole 90-day thing. I do have a question. Okay.
Yes.
Because of course, still I'm thinking about houseplants still. Sorry.
It's good. No, the analogies are great. I love it.
Okay. Okay. So if I've had a plant, for example, that is not doing well, like it's not good, and then I change up things, it starts to get better. So is it possible that I ate Cheetos and potato chips and all that crap a year ago, but now, let's just say 6 months ago, that's how I was eating. But now I'm eating the things that Nora DeBora is telling me to do because she's brilliant.
Thank you.
What happens to my egg quality? It's
absolutely. You can absolutely start to reverse that. So this concept of what's called epigenetics, which essentially means above the gene, tells us that 95% of how our body is going to be in a health state is pretty much contributed from the environment as opposed to the genetics. So you absolutely can change the quality of your eggs. We have to think about, now there's a bunch of different, we've got how many billions of cells in our body, and depending on what organ we're talking about, for instance, I know the small intestines, the cells inside of these small intestines actually turn over like every 4 days. So, right. And then the cells, I don't have these numbers exactly off the top of my head. Certain I think your liver cells turn over every couple of months. Was it 90 days? There's skin cells turnover. Again, I don't have all of these exact stats, but different cells in the body will turn over every, whatever, it's from 4 days to 90 days to 6 months.
Yeah, they say we have a whole new body, like our entire body is new after 7 years or something.
7 years,
like that.
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's a beautiful thing. Like we were designed in a way that we're so lucky because our body is constantly trying to be as healthy and clean itself out as much as it can on a daily basis. It's a matter of us taking on that responsibility of creating that environment so that it can't, the environment around us is going to either be our poison or it's going to be our medicine. Our bodies want to be healthy. They were designed to procreate. They were designed to be in optimal health and optimal shape. It's just over time with stress, I guess, xenoestrogens in the environment, chemicals in our food, toxins everywhere that, they bombard our systems, and that begins to bog things down, which then creates and wreaks havoc in the body, which then can potentially lead to chronic inflammation, leading to disease, and the cascade just continues.
Oh, that's a good word. Cascade.
Yeah. A very big, just think about like that domino effect. It's just like, it just keeps going. So you can absolutely turn this around. I've seen it firsthand with my clients. They come to me, for instance, I've had clients who have gone to the fertility clinic, have not been able to get pregnant naturally on their own, have gone to the fertility clinic, have gotten eggs retrieved, have only been able to, retrieve, let's say 5 eggs, maybe get 1 viable embryo. It doesn't work out for them. They're like, I'm not spending more money on fertility treatments. They end up finding me, they begin to work with me, and I say, please just give me, I know, so here we are with that 90-day or 3-month mark, but I try and beg them to give me at least 3 months. Give me at least 3 months. Some people are open to extending that longer, but then we take at least 3, 6, sometimes 8 months, depending on really optimizing their health. And they go back. If they don't get pregnant naturally in the meantime, they go back to fertility clinic, and they go through the process of doing egg retrieval again and getting healthy embryos, and the numbers have skyrocketed. And I just got an email the other day from one of my clients, and she's like, Nora, I shocked my reproductive endocrinologist. She literally wrote that in the email.
Yes.
She's like, they were so surprised exactly on how many more eggs. I think she was diagnosed with DOR, diminished ovarian reserve. And when she first went for her first round many, many months ago, she ended up getting, I believe it was maximum 6 eggs. And she also had a really low AMH and a high FSH. And then after taking, this process started in November. She just sent me this email now. So November till July, because she got her eggs retrieved in July. And she said they got 19 follicles. She got 19 eggs. She obviously had stimulation, but still, she got 19 eggs. She ended up having, I think she got like 12 healthy embryos. I think 7 of them turned to like good blastocytes. And so now they've got all of these options to deal with. She's like,
that
I get
is
goosebumps.
Not DOR. That's not diminished ovarian. No way.
I have goosebumps just saying this.
That's so beautiful.
That just came through like yesterday. And I'm actually going to send it out to my newsletter next week as like, this is such a hopeful story that like I've screenshotted the email and I'm like, I'm putting it right in my newsletter. I'll share it on Instagram next week, but this is proof in the pudding, and it's so powerful to know that, there is hope for everybody.
That was, you said November to July, that was 8 months of working.
8 months of working. And she's like, no caffeine, like really upped her supplement game, followed my preconception nutrition strategies, and really, especially she limited her alcohol a lot, but within the 3 months prior to the egg retrieval, she had like no alcohol. It was all just these, things that we hear of and we know about, but to actually implement them and like have the strategy, that's what she shared. And she's going in for her transfer in September. So I am just crossing my fingers for her and her partner, and I'm really excited to hear what ends up happening. But yes, so you
That's
can improve
so
your egg quality is
exciting.
the moral of the story.
Can. What do you say to folks? Because this just popped in my head around, of course, the domino effect. One of those giant stinking dominoes is the stress of trying to conceive, right? Especially when it's been
Yes.
so hard. So what do you tell folks to be able to work through this, the possibility of longer than 90 days, even up to a year or more, folks who have been like, but I'm
Oh, it's
42
tough.
or
Is
yeah,
I'm 39. I hear it. I hear it a lot.
yeah, I'm 34 and a half. I've only got 6 months. Like what? Because according
Yes.
to, right. Yeah.
It's, every client and every individual is very unique. And my biggest, one of my biggest learning as a practitioner in this space is really I have to meet where my clients where they're at. And
Sure.
so, I do my best, just like I'm doing right now, sharing with your community and yourself is educating them, really the
Mhm.
education component, because I think the education component can be so empowering. And hearing these stories and knowing, that this is possible. We just have to be able to understand the reason, like understanding, like knowledge is power. So having this knowledge and understanding the reason behind it, I will say like sometimes it's a little bit of like an arm twist at the beginning, not say arm twist, like it's a little bit more convincing, but I will say once they, they're maybe 1, 2 months in and they've started to really implement these changes and they actually
Feel it.
feel so much better, more energy, better sleep quality, maybe less PMS or less hormonal, whatever hormonal symptoms they might be dealing with,
Yes. Yes.
mood swings, fatigue late in the afternoon. They start to see and feel and experience the difference. That's when they're like, okay. So, again,
Aha.
it's hard because sometimes clients will come to me and they're like, Nora, my fertility treatment is 3 months out. Insurance is lined up. Everything is lined up, right? Like
Yeah.
it's I do the best that I can. I try and kind of finagle
Right.
my
Right. Right.
strategy as best as I can. But
Hmm.
if a client is like, this is the hard date, I say, okay, we're going to do the best we can up until then.
It's
Some
great.
clients are open to waiting longer, and then that's the case, and great. But
Yeah.
really, first
If you,
first and foremost, educate and empower.
well, that's why we're doing podcasts like this, right? Like,
Exactly.
someone who listens to this now who's not ready to, TTC right now will be like, okay, well then I can put these protocols into place. And a year from now, when I'm ready, I'll be like, woohoo, excellent egg quality. Yay. Also,
Yes.
I can see why you say, just give me 3 months, because then they're like, oh my God, I feel so good. Let me go longer.
Yeah, and the 3 months is like, it's very, I mean, it's all, if you read lots of books, I think, so everybody says 3 months to take to improve your egg quality. So I kind of start there. I'm like,
Yeah.
here now I'm giving my strategies away list to everybody
Yeah.
listening, but I'm
Yeah.
like,
But
give
it
me three
probably
months.
does. I mean, right?
And
Like me with the plant thing, it probably does improve, but do you
it
want,
still does. Absolutely.
there's an optimal state, and there's like, we're
Yes.
starting to get better. So I get what you're saying.
And I know
Well,
we're talking, there's one more thing I want to say.
yeah,
So
please.
is I know we're talking about egg quality, but as we know, and this is like a big piece that I also strongly love to educate on, is that 50% of the equation is the sperm and the 50% of the 50%
Exactly.
is the egg, 50% is the sperm. So there's this concept of spermatogenesis, right?
Yep.
Follicular
Yep.
genesis and spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis essentially means that it's that happens every 72 days. So a man will turn over his sperm entirely
Hmm.
within 72 days. So, I say to my clients, this is not only helpful for you, but let's get the partner on board. And then we can do both at the same time, because whether or not you're trying naturally or the fertility clinic, they're going to be using potentially his sperm, if that's the case, your egg. So it's when it's more of a joint effort, your two people are involved, it's, people, they're held more accountable. They can motivate each other. It's more inspiring. And then I think for women, for us, we just don't feel so alone in the process, right? So
Yes. Oh,
yeah,
yes. I
yeah.
would have loved to have had you back then when I was trying to convince my husband to detox. It's like,
Hmm.
expletive, expletive, expletive.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that
Yes.
for my
Yeah, and
husband.
that's, yep. And some clients, some partners, some of my clients' partners will, or some of my clients' partners are like, and they're on the calls with me. I love it when that
That's
happens.
so
And
great.
sometimes
I
they're
know.
the ones who cook and make all the food and are like ready to make all the changes. And every
Yeah,
couple is so different. It's so
I
interesting to see
know.
the different
It is
dynamics.
cool.
It's so much fun. With some, again, I'll meet them where they're at. If he's only willing to take the supplements, that I'll do my best to strategically put together a supplement protocol that I know is going to improve and help anyways. But
Yep.
yes, oh yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big one. That's a whole podcast. I'll
I
come back
know.
and we'll do a sperm health podcast at some point.
That'd be so great. Thanks for that little tidbit at least. Right, because
Yes,
50-50, that's how it is, right?
yes,
Are we able to get into the goods now, like the
yes.
actual key nutrients that folks can focus on?
Absolutely. So I like to call this kind of like the alphabet soup of vitamins because we have all the different letters of vitamins that we have. And so I'll start with vitamin A. Vitamin A is a big one. Is one of it's a egg and sperm. Oh, by the way, before I even start this, all I would say like 99.9% of the nutrients and vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that are beneficial for egg health, guess what? Are exactly the same and beneficial for sperm health. So, yes. So, when I give my clients personalized meal plans and protocols, I just say this is good for both of you. So, that's just caveat up front. So, this is good for both. So, the first one is vitamin A. Now, vitamin A, there are two different types of vitamin A out there. We've got the vegetable form of vitamin A, which comes in the form of what's called beta carotene. And this comes in, think about like orange and yellow vegetables, from squashes to yellow peppers to pumpkin, sweet potato. That orange, bright orange color comes from vitamin A, beta carotene. Carrots are another big one. And then we have vitamin A in the form of what's called retinol, which is the animal protein form of vitamin A. Now, obviously, vitamin A in the form of beta carotene is great. Eat those bright colored vegetables always, no matter what. But when we're talking about retinol, the form of vitamin A in retinol, this is really good because it is required to initiate the cell division of like the cell division process of the egg as it's developing in that primordial state. And this allows us eventually to release a healthy and fully mature egg each time we ovulate. So retinol is extremely important for the development of all of that. And the same with sperm, with the spermatogenesis.
Cool.
So I'm going to give you a couple different food sources of retinol vitamin A. And because I said, the supplements are the icing on the cake is built with the foundational components of that cake, which is our egg is built with food.
Mhm.
And so vitamin A and retinol comes from full fat dairy products. So full fat dairy products, dairy is great for fertility if you do not have an intolerance to it, right? If you're lactose intolerant, or if you have some sort of allergy to dairy and you are having explosive diarrhea, excuse my language, or
Mhm, mhm.
constant gas and bloating, please stay away from dairy. It's not good for your digestion. But if you do not have an intolerance, full fat dairy sourced from grass-fed cows are very optimal for egg, like full fat butter, cheese. Again, if you're not intolerant. Another source of retinol vitamin A comes from the eggs. So eggs, there you go. Mother Nature gives us
Mhm.
food that are good for our body. And so
Yep.
eggs, you're going to hear eggs quite a bit as I'm talking about these different vitamins. But the full egg, not just the egg white, we need to eat the egg yolk as well. So
Mhm.
pasture raised eggs you want to be looking for. This is going to give you the full nutritional profile of the egg, as opposed to kind of free range or organic. You want to be looking for pasture raised eggs.
Mm, mhm.
And then last but not least is, so again, these are all animal protein products, is beef and chicken liver. So you might be cringing on the other end. I know I am not a liver fan. I do not like liver at all. I've tried so many different ways to incorporate liver in my diet. I'm like hiding it in my like ground meat sauce. I'm like making ice cubes of it and putting it in like stews. But there is no way for me to eat and enjoy liver, unfortunately. So if that is you, that's fine. There are now available desiccated liver capsules, and you can actually take liver in the form of capsules
Cool.
throughout the day. So liver is an organ meat. Organ meats are like one of the best fertility foods out there. So liver. And you want to
Cool.
be looking for pasture raised. You want to be looking for liver that comes from a pasture raised cow
Got it.
or chicken. So
Wow.
that's the first one.
Cool. That's just the
There's
first
more.
one.
There's more. Yes.
We're waiting with bated breath.
Right. Okay. So the next one is vitamin D. Vitamin D is a pretty popular one. I think a lot of us who are looking to prepare for pregnancy may have gotten our vitamin D levels tested, and we know that it's important to have optimal levels of vitamin D. This plays an important role in our ovarian function and, again, that follicular development, so the development of the follicle. I like to use analogies for everything. So I'm going to talk about think about a fruit ripening on a tree. In order for it to get really ripe, it needs that sunshine to really ripen. So vitamin D in our body is kind of like sunshine for our follicles. And so we need optimal levels of vitamin D as we are moving into that antral phase, especially, right? That second phase where we're like 50 to 60 days out from ovulation. We really need robust vitamin D levels in order to help the development of that follicle. And let's talk about some food sources of this, because we think, most people, if you're living in the Northern Hemisphere like myself, I live in Toronto, Canada. But in the Northern Hemisphere, most of us are deficient. We don't get much sun for 6 months of the year. So I'm always telling my clients, supplement. But you actually can get vitamin D from food, not as much there's not as much food sources, but liver, I'm going to tell you, this liver is going to pop up everywhere. So just as a warning, liver is going to give you lots of vitamin D. Butter, grass-fed butter, and egg yolks. So you're going to see there's a lot of common themes through
good.
this. So
Cool.
So that has a lot of vitamin D. So many women are deficient. So please get your levels checked. That's one of the first things I do with my clients in the blood labs. Get your vitamin D checked. This is true
for mental health too. FYI.
Yes.
Very true for mental health.
Exactly. So ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay, so the next one is folate. So this is also another nutrient that I think in the fertility or pregnancy space is one of the first things people think about. Hey, I want to get pregnant, I need to take folic acid, right? Usually that's really
Yep.
That's what people think. Yeah,
that's exactly right. Yep.
So there's two things here with the folic acid and the folate. Okay, so folate essentially is a B vitamin. It's known as B9. Okay, and folate B9 comes from food, from the food sources. Which, by the way, why don't I talk about them now? Liver, organ meats. Surprise.
Oh, shocking.
Dark leafy greens give you lots of folate. Avocado, broccoli, asparagus, oranges, and sunflower seeds. These are very, very nutrient dense folate foods. So getting these into your diet daily is going to help you boost your natural folate levels. Now, folic acid is a synthetic form of folate, which is why it's called folic acid. And it's actually made in it's man-made. And that actually takes a lot more for the body to process and break down as opposed to the natural folate. So if you have, a supplement bottle, please look on the back of your supplement bottle that it says folate or 5-MTHFR, which is methyl tetrahydrofolate, as opposed to actually folic acid, because it's more beneficial to have the folate than the folic acid. So yes, the folate foods, as mentioned, are those dark leafy green, avocados, broccoli, sunflower seeds. You can even do sunflower seed butter, throw it in a smoothie, put it on toast. It's delicious. And the reason why folate is essential for egg health is because it is for the detoxification. It helps kind of like it helps the mitochondria, which is the energy powerhouse of the cell, and it helps for rapid cell growth. So again, as that egg is moving through that antral period, the second phase of the development, the folate is going to help with that. And as we know, helps with neural tube defect, and it helps with when you're actually pregnant. It helps with a lot of other things for that growing fetus. So get those levels up in the body as much as you can before.
Lovely. I'm now hungry. Not for liver though. But
no. I know liver is everywhere. Sorry, guys. Okay, a few more vitamins, and then I want to get to a very popular antioxidant that a lot of people know and might be taking for egg health. But so we have a lot of powerful antioxidant vitamins. Going back to the beginning of what we talked about, that ovarian, the fluid inside of the ovary, that ovarian environment, is a lot of the molecules in there are antioxidants, and we need to have antioxidants inside the ovary because we want to make sure that the cells are not oxidizing too fast, right? Because then we may have like DOR, diminished ovarian reserve, or that you're not going to have healthy, robust eggs well into your 40s. So powerful antioxidant foods come from vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and zinc. And this is, you'll get all of these in your prenatal, but it's important to get them from your food sources as well.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially the role of these, again, is to help reduce oxidative damage. And so let's talk about some different food sources of each of these. So vitamin C, I think, is a no-brainer. I think most of us know vitamin C comes from like citrus fruits, lemons, oranges. You're going to pretty much get vitamin C across the board in all of those colorful fruits and vegetables. And then we have selenium. This is another very powerful antioxidant, also incredible for sperm health. And this comes in the form of seafood. So seafood has lots of selenium in it, again, organ meats, and Brazil nuts. Do you like Brazil nuts?
They are my favorite. They are.
Yes.
They're my favorite nut. I love them so much. I don't like
So
opening
good.
them, but
Oh wait, what do you mean opening them? Like opening the container, or like opening the nut?
Cracking the nut open.
Oh, you actually do it that way?
When they're
never
already
bought it like that.
Oh my, it's so hard. It's good for you. It's more expensive, obviously, to buy them shelled. It's really hard to crack them open. Yes.
How have I never seen that? I'm going to go look for that.
It's a hard, dark brown, like wrinkly,
Sounds
really
like
hard.
a chestnut.
Yeah, I guess so. It's similar to a chestnut. It looks like moon shaped.
Okay. Yeah, that's what the Brazil nut actually looks like. Also, it's a little bit moon shaped, but and to get your daily dose of selenium, 4 Brazil nuts a day is all you need. So just 4. You can chomp on 4 Brazil nuts a day, or 2 to 4. Brazil nuts are brilliant. They're so good. And zinc is another big one. Zinc is also great for boosting your immune system. Zinc is one of the also incredible for sperm health. And you're going to find this in pumpkin seeds and ginger. Ginger is another big one, which is also good for healing your gut. And then vitamin E comes from nuts, seeds, and avocado. So lots, all of these are real foods that come from Mother Earth. And so incorporating them into your diet every day is going to do your body and eggs good.
Delicious. Good stuff. I love all this. Thank you.
And let's talk about the last another very powerful antioxidant that I'm actually going to ask you, Maria, off the top of your head, if somebody says, okay, if there's any sort of supplement that you need to take for boosting your eggs, it is
CoQ10.
Exactly. CoQ10. I knew you'd know because it's so like everybody.
It's common.
Just whatever. Are you taking CoQ10? Just like, did you get pregnant? Are you taking folic acid? It's the same concept.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
And there's good reason behind it. It's an antioxidant that protects the body's tissues from the natural aging process. And again, we want to keep those eggs as healthy and young and free from oxidation and free radicals as much as we can. So CoQ10 does help improve ovarian reserves, and you can get it from actually tons of food sources. And the first one, can you guess? Liver. It comes in liver. CoQ10. That's what I'm saying. Liver is like the best fertility food.
Get those capsules, man.
When I have a client who says that they like liver, I swear I jump up and down. I'm like, this is exciting. Because I always ask, and I'm like, if they give me that face right away, I'm like, okay, no, we're getting them on capsules.
I'm surprised that happens. That people say,
right?
oh, I like liver. What?
Oh yeah. Some, I was gonna say a lot. No, some people do. So fatty fish, you can find CoQ10 in fatty fish like trout, herring, mackerel, and sardines. Do you like sardines?
I actually really like sardines when you cook them up. They're like almost like a salty, buttery flavor, nutty.
Yeah, yummy. And they're good. Like I find they're good, like a quick grab and go. They're easy to kind of take with you if you're like I don't know, going to work for lunch or something, you're packing a little lunch bag, like a can of sardines in there is a good
Yeah,
quick
I've never
snack
had
or
them
something to
like
pair
that.
with
I've
lunch.
always cooked them and put them in like a sauce or something, but
Oh, well, I usually have them
yeah.
from a can and I don't usually cook them. So I'm learning some stuff from you today. I'm excited to try and
Oh,
incorporate
now
the
I'm going to
Brazil
try to
nuts
just,
in the shell and the
yeah.
sardines cooked.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm saying don't get the Brazil nuts in the shell because they're hard
Okay.
to crack.
And CoQ10, so vegetable sources, comes from spinach, cauliflower, and broccoli. So those cruciferous vegetables, mainly from cauliflower and broccoli, which are great for helping also kind of detox estrogen in the body, which is good because we don't want to have estrogen dominance. Fruits that have CoQ10 are oranges and strawberries. So it's the summertime now. Enjoy lots of oranges, right? They're going to give you lots of antioxidants as well. Folate, there's folate in oranges, and CoQ10 also with strawberries. And then nuts and seeds, sesame seeds, and pistachios actually have some CoQ10
Oh,
as
I
well. So
love pistachios.
I love pistachios. Another one that you have to crack open, but
I
it's a
know.
lot easier, I'm sure, than
So much easier.
so gratifying when you open it. You just pop it in. You're like, if I did not have to crack open that shell, I think I would eat way too many pistachios.
I know.
The process of
That's true.
cracking it open
That's
slows
good.
it down.
Yes. I make it even
And
worse by putting them in some dates. I put
oh, that's
pistachios in dates. Oh
nice.
my God, they're
Yeah,
so
they're like, it's
good.
called like a date bomb. That's I get my clients sometimes to do like almond butter or sunflower seed butter. You cut the date open, take the
Ooh.
pit out, and then take some nut butter and just kind of put it in and kind of like close it up, and you've got this little, like, I call it a date bomb.
Oh, so you're
And
telling me it's okay to eat they're very sweet, but you're
I would say yes, they are sweet. They've got tons of fiber. But if you're pairing it with, don't go nuts and eat like 10 dates all at once because it's going to be sugar
Mhm.
overload.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
would
mhm.
say, you could do, I typically like to do about 1 to 2 dates at a time. If you put that nut butter inside, it's actually quite dense.
Uh-huh.
So after two, you're probably not
You're
even going to
done.
want, you're
Yeah.
done. You're not really going to want any more. And it's not like you're popping the whole thing in your mouth all at once because you're going to be chewing for like a good 5 minutes before you can get that down. So
Yes.
count, like little bites, you put it in, take a little bite, and then have some water, have another little bite, because it is very, very dense, especially like, the nut butter is like
Oh, for
fatty.
sure.
And then you've got the date, which is
That's a
also quite
lovely
sweet.
dessert. That's not, now I'm not a massive sugar fan anyway, so that sounds like plenty for me. I
Yes,
love I
it's
love
really
that.
good.
I haven't
And
tried that. Thank you.
what I like to do is actually make, I'll take like a baking tray and I'll kind of slice. So I like to do the medjool date. Do you use medjool dates?
No.
Medjool,
Oh yeah. Oh
Mejool. They're
yes.
like the bigger dates.
Now that you spelled it, I can see it. Yes.
Yeah,
Got it.
medjool. So look for the medjool organic dates, and I'll take maybe like 10 and I'll cut it open. There's a pit in it. So I take the pit out. I don't cut it all the way through. So there's two halves. I cut one half so I can butterfly it open, take
Yeah.
out the pit, put in some nut butter in there. Sometimes what I'll even do is put like a tiny little bit of coconut oil in there, close it back
Oh.
up, make 10 of them, put them in the freezer, let them freeze, and then put them in a little bag. And then you keep them in the freezer as like a quick grab and go snack.
Oh,
And then all you do is like take out one or two, and then and it's so hot, it's summer right now, so they're even good to eat when they're
so
really cold.
smart. I
They
love it.
kind of melt, they melt pretty quickly, like not fully melt, but if you take them out of the freezer, they'll thaw in like 5-10 minutes, not even.
Those are going on my grocery list. Thank
There you
you.
go.
Love it.
You're welcome. So yeah, if you do that, you're getting your CoQ10, you're getting your antioxidants, you're getting your fiber, which is good for digestion. So yeah, lots of cool fun options.
Ah, thank you.
So those are big ones. Those are those are some of my top nutrient tips for boosting your egg quality. And one of the last things I want to say is also hydration. So remember, we were talking
Mm.
about that ovarian fluid. Electrolytes are part of that fluid, and it's, I see even with clients, when they drink more water, they even have more cervical mucus production. So don't underestimate the power of hydration. And so the general rule of thumb, if you think about it, is 1 liter for every 50 pounds of body weight. So let's say I'm 150 pounds. I am just on average, this is general, right? Doesn't factor in how much I'm exercising, this the time of year, if it's like super hot and like I'm outside walking my dog and sweating like crazy. But generally speaking, I try and get in at least 3 liters of water a day. And then if I'm at the gym and sweating more and outside, sometimes I'll push that and bump it up to trying to get at least 4. So figure out your computation and what that is for you. But hydration is just as important for egg quality as these nutrients that we're talking about.
Oh, and such a simple thing too. Actually, all of these things are quite, yes, there's like this science behind it that can be a little complicated, but you just named all of these foods that cover many of these bases, and they
Hmm.
cover some foods cover several bases. Said, liver obviously
Yeah.
covers all the bases. Um, but right. So I think this is achievable.
Yeah, it's totally achievable. And for your listeners, actually, I have put together I have a free 7-day fertility meal plan that comes with 12 fertility boosting, delicious, in my opinion, recipes that are given to you and laid out in like a 7-day meal plan with a grocery list. And pretty much it's a 7-day fertility boosting meal plan that can be used for yourself with the eggs and your partner for the sperm, that incorporate a lot of these foods that we just talked about today. So if you're looking for that, you can download it for free. And maybe Maria, I'll send you this as well so you can put it in the show notes. But it's
Of course.
www.naturallynora.ca. Naturally Nora is my business name. There's no H at the end of Nora, so just don't put that in there. And it's .ca because I am Canadian, very proud. And then
Mhm.
it's /eggs. So
Perfect. Oh, that's
www.naturallynora.ca
totally easy.
/eggs. Mhm.
Yes, we will absolutely be adding that to the show notes, of course, and your website in general. And where else can people find you? Instagram, or where else are you?
Instagram. Yeah, it's just me. So I tried to take on too much before and it was too overwhelming. So I kind of pared it down to my Instagram, which is at naturally Nora. Sorry, at naturally_Nora. And as Maria and I were talked about at the beginning, I started my own podcast at the beginning of this year, which is called The Ultimate Pregnancy Prep Podcast. So you can go there as well. And I think Maria, you were, I think, my like 5th guest. You were pretty early on. I was really excited to have
Yes.
you. So you can also find your episode in there. And forgive me, I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but you will see it. I think
Yeah.
I'm only at 20 episodes right now anyway. So
Yep.
um,
Yep. I think I was in the
yeah,
beginning somewhere. Yep.
you
Yeah. I
were
was
somewhere.
all
Yeah. I
excited when you
loved our
started that.
episode. It was so much fun talking to you. It was so much fun talking to you. So I love
Yeah, we
it.
talked about spirit baby stuff. Somebody called me about that recently. I heard you on Nora's podcast. I'm like,
Did you
oh my
really?
God.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so cool. Well,
Love
thank
it.
you so much for all of this amazing information. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure you're a wealth of information. So thank you so much for sharing today. And again, we'll have all of these links in the show notes. Y'all find Nora and connect with her and get more info and get your free. I think I might want your recipes.
Yeah,
I'm just
go
saying,
ahead and
I'm not trying
download
to
it.
conceive, but
No, they're still good. I think it's funny. I was been dealing with email issues this last week, and my developer who lives in South Africa, she's as I don't know, in her 50s, a woman in her 50s, and we were testing, making sure that it was working to download, and she emails me. She's like, Nora, these look amazing. I think I'm going to use them. So it's like anybody, you can send it to your mom, your grandma, whoever.
perfect.
Everybody could eat. It's delicious.
Yeah, sounds so good. Yum, yum, yum. All right. Well, thank you so much, Nora. You're a wealth of information, and I look forward to connecting again soon. Shoot, we can just interview back and forth if we want.
Yeah, I'm gonna
We're
have you
both a
back on
wealth.
mine. Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, Maria, for having me.
Absolutely.